Alright, M. Night Shyamalan. You had us waiting 19 years for this. Please be good. Please do not let us down. Glass. So Glass is a movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It's Shyamalan's newest film. And this is a sequel to both Unbreakable and Split. So this is basically M. Night Shyamalan's conclusion to his little superhero trilogy that he kind of created. And it stars James McAvoy. It has Samuel L. Jackson's back in it. Bruce Willis is in this movie. Anya Taylor-Joy, among others. And basically what it is this movie follows James McAvoy and Bruce Willis. They kind of come together, and then they're sent into this like mental institution, kind of, not really. But yeah, and then there they meet up with Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Glass, and then stuff happens from there. So, alright, let's talk about Glass. Now, despite the fact that I don't like M. Night Shyamalan, I think he's one of the most overhyped directors working today. Because look at his filmography. Like, after Signs, I guess, although I actually recently rewatched Signs and I wasn't a big fan of it. But yeah, after Signs, he made movies like The Village, Lady in the Water, Last Airbender, After Earth, a bunch of garbage movies that were basically bottom of the barrel garbage. And so, yeah. But I will say I was actually looking forward to Glass because I really like Unbreakable. Split, I originally gave it a 64% fresh rating, which is a B-. But upon rewatch, I'd probably lower it to like somewhere in the low 50s. It's more like a C right now. But nonetheless, it is one of the better films in Shyamalan's filmography, even though it's not really saying too much. And I will give Split this. I thought the ending was really good, and I was curious to see where it would go and like how Unbreakable and Split would be tied into this movie. So yeah, I was curious to see how all these like superheroes and whatnot would come together, and like how everything would go down. And there were some things I liked about this movie, mainly James McAvoy. I thought James McAvoy was the highlight of Split, and he's the highlight of this movie too. He's easily the best thing about it. His performance was really well done, even though some of his personalities I wasn't too big a fan of in this movie. But like some of the personalities I did really like, and overall I thought Kevin Wendell Crumb was a compelling character. He had the best moments in the film, for sure. And I will say I like the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie where Bruce Willis was introduced, or like reintroduced, I guess you could say, back into the franchise. Well, he was reintroduced at the ending of Split, but like his comeback to this movie, and he's trying. He really is. Like, he's been kind of just meandering through movies lately, but he's actually trying here. So I can give him credit for that, at least. And like I said, the first 20 to 30 minutes involving him I thought were pretty well done for the most part. Now, as I've said earlier, I don't like M. Night Shyamalan. I think he's an overhyped director. A lot of people were saying that he returned to form with The Visit and Split. And some people are even saying this movie's underrated. It's got like a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. It's been changing. But yeah, some people have been saying that this movie's actually underrated. That's where I disagree. I thought this movie was a massive letdown. I mean, massive letdown. Like, first off, let's go over the M. Night Shyamalan checklist, shall we? Because M. Night Shyamalan tends to follow his little checklist that he does in every single one of his movies. So, let's go down the M. Night Shyamalan checklist, and let's see if it's in this movie. Excessive amounts of close-up shots. Check. They're all over the place in this movie. I thought the cinematography was horrible. Like, every time a character talks, the camera's like right up in their face. Like, why? Why is that necessary? And then, like, he thinks he's so smart with it, with all of his tracking shots, which I'll admit some of them were good, but others were just like, really? Especially like a couple shots where it's like right side up and then the camera like flips over, so now it's showing an upside down view. I was like, okay, what kind of cinematography is this here? Like, you don't need to be that pretentious, Shyamalan. You really don't. So, yeah, that's the first check mark. Next check mark. Wooden acting. Check. Other than James McAvoy and to a certain extent Bruce Willis, everyone else is just bland or wooden as hell. Like, Samuel L. Jackson, like, I'm sorry. He doesn't even speak until, like, way later in the movie. Yeah, this movie's called Glass, yet it's very misleading because it's not really about glass. So why is the movie called Glass? Makes no sense. But yeah, I'll get into that a little bit more later. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, he's a good actor, but he's just so bland in this movie and so one note. Same with Sarah Paulson. She was also very one note and just bland and wooden as hell. And then you have Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh my god, you thought she was bland and mopey in the first movie? I mean, she shows a little bit more emotion in this movie, at least toward the end, but before that, oh my god, it's just, she was just so vanilla in this movie. Just nothing really going for her at all. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of her. The guy who played Bruce Willis' son, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of him either. I thought his performance was bland. So yeah, just other than James McAvoy and to a certain extent Bruce Willis, everyone else is just pretty much one note. The next check mark. M. Night Shyamalan casts himself in this movie and plays some sort of acting role, whether it's a cameo or even a big supporting role. Check. And yes, he's a terrible actor. He's garbage every time he makes a cameo in any of his movies, including this one. So yeah, M. Night Shyamalan makes some sort of cameo appearance. That's a check right there. Next one. Oh, this one's a big one. Predictable plot twists. M. Night Shyamalan loves his twist endings, and a lot of times, sometimes they're good. Like, I thought Split's twist ending was really good. This one was just predictable. Like, I saw it coming well before the halfway point of the movie. And there's actually a second twist, which is just like, really? Why? I don't even know why that second twist was there. I thought it was really dumb. But, so yeah, predictable twists. That's another check mark on M. Night Shyamalan's checklist. What's another one? Oh yeah, cringy dialogue. Oh my god, the dialogue in this movie had my head spinning a lot. Because, like, all the forced attempts at humor are just ridiculous, especially by the Hedwig personality. Like, I actually kind of like the Hedwig personality in Split. Yeah, that's one of James McAvoy's personalities, by the way. But yeah, I kind of liked it in Split, like, including my guilty pleasure scene in that movie, the most unintentionally hilarious scene in Split, the CD player where he's dancing like an idiot with, like, this big rock music playing in the back. I thought that was so hilarious. But in this movie, it's just so cringy. And just, couldn't stand the dialogue in this movie. And another one, and probably the biggest check mark out of all of them, the plot holes. There are a ridiculous amount of plot holes in this movie, especially in the third act. But even before that, they're just all over the place. Like, I swear, I can't get into the plot holes because that would go into spoiler territory, but oh my god, they were just so all over the place. You could find a plot hole like every 5 minutes in this movie, pretty much. That's what it felt like. So yeah, all the plot holes, all the unanswered questions, check. Big check, actually. Huge check mark. And I think that's it for the main components of the M. Night Shyamalan checklist. But, so yeah, we kind of went over that. And let's get into the third act. This third act was just so anticlimactic. It reminded me of No Country for Old Men in a way, where it was just a huge cop-out. Just so anticlimactic. Just, like, everything that happens, it's just like, really? And then there's even more plot twists, kind of. But, yeah, other than the two main twists. But, yeah, it's just like, really? That's how you're going to end this whole franchise Shyamalan, that's how you're gonna do it. And yeah, the movie just takes a big nosedive from there. And even like the first 2/3 of the movie, it's just so boring. Just nothing really goes on that much. Yeah, there really isn't a lot going on. It's just a lot of talking and exposition, which is another check mark, by the way. Lots of exposition and lots of boring sequences that lead to nothing. Like, there's a scene about 50 minutes into the movie or something like that, like 45, 50 minutes into the movie. It takes place in this pink room, right? In this big pink room. You saw it in the trailer, like where the three main characters get together with Sarah Paulson. Oh my god, one of the most boring expositional scenes in this entire movie. I almost fell asleep during this scene. And the worst part is it goes on for a good 7 to 8 minutes. Like, I'm not even kidding. It goes on forever. It just doesn't end. And of course, you have Shyamalan's close-up shots every time a character speaks in this scene as well. It's just, can we just move on, please? That's how I was feeling throughout this entire scene. And yeah, just all the exposition, especially from Samuel L. Jackson's character and Sarah Paulson's character. And which, by the way, Sarah Paulson, yeah, she's one note. She could have been played by anybody in this movie. Like, really. But yeah, and then the third act, of course, I already kind of got into that. Just so anticlimactic. Like, that's how it ends. And then it's like, okay, now some characters are showing emotion. Alright, well, yeah. It's just so out of left field at times. And I just was not satisfied at all with this movie. I'm going to be completely honest. I was not satisfied at all. And it just shows why I don't like Shyamalan as a director, why I think he's so overhyped. And he's just, like a lot of people are saying, he has returned to form. Not really. He really hasn't, in my eyes. He's just the same director that made The Last Airbender and After Earth and all those other garbage movies. He hasn't really changed all that much, to be completely honest. So, yeah, sorry Shyamalan, but you struck out big time here. So yeah, I did want to like Glass. I'm being completely honest here. I wanted to like this movie. I thought, okay, maybe this could be M. Night Shyamalan's final return to form. Like, he made a step up with Split. So maybe this would be his actual return to form. But it wasn't. Instead, it was just a huge mess of a movie. Total letdown. Convoluted. A bunch of random sequences that lead to nothing. Flashbacks. That's another thing I forgot to mention. There's a flashback involving Samuel L. Jackson's character at an amusement park that really wasn't explained at all. So, yeah, there's things like that. Just this movie's just a mess. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention is Samuel L. Jackson's character. Well, actually, I did kind of mention it. He's barely even in the movie. So, yeah, same with Anya Taylor-Joy. She's barely in the movie too. And like the movie just cuts from one. It like focuses on James McAvoy at one point, and then it cuts away from him completely, pushes him aside, and then tries to focus on another character, and then later pushes him aside. It's all over the place. Incredibly convoluted. A huge mess. So yeah, Glass, I just thought was complete garbage. It just wasn't good at all. Total letdown. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Glass... I actually don't really know what I wanted to give it. I'm going to give it a 20... Let's go 28%. Rotten rating, that's a D. Alright guys, so there's my review of Glass. Have you guys seen Glass? What did you think about it? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. And what's your favorite M. Night Shyamalan film? Personally, for me, it's The Sixth Sense. I've always loved that film. I thought it was a great suspense thriller. So yeah, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more reviews to come in the future. I did see Replicas. I'm probably not going to review it on here. So yeah, but I did see it. And I will see A Dog's Way Home pretty soon. Again, probably won't review it on here, but yeah. Anyway, there's my review of Glass. Again, make sure to subscribe for more to see more reviews in the future. And until next time, once again, my name is the California Cougar. Always remember, stay California cool. Peace.